Welcome back to our second podcast with Tara and Kai and Tara, Conversations Worth Having. Today we're focusing on self-love. And I'm going to get started here because my definition of self-love, I pondered on it for 1.5 weeks and I wrote it down and I decided that my definition, Kai Moon, here, my definition of self-love is the realization that you do not have to share yourself with anyone who does not value nor see your worth, including family. And Tara is going to elaborate on that. Would you agree that that's self-love?
Say that's a version of self-love. When I wrote my notes for this, I put that everybody's going to define self-love differently and how they experience it and how they see it in others and how they practice it. It's always going to look a little different person to person, culture to culture. So that's what I noted. And we
Okay,
have messages from lots of different places.
I agree. I struggled with self-love since I was a young girl, and it's been taking like 20 years of therapy, working out, and trying to change the dialogue in my head when I wake up in the morning from the judging person to actually you're pretty awesome, you're making it happen. But it's um a lot of work and it doesn't come naturally. I think, especially for women, it does not come naturally because we are judged not only by the society and the plastic surgeons, but also like all the anti-aging things we see all the time, the messages we're receiving day in and day out, the pay gap. I mean, it's so long and lengthy. And with that, also a beautiful 40 comes this year. And I'm definitely seeing changes that are making it even a little bit more challenging to love myself. But I'm saying that self-love is also accepting that getting older is part of the process and realizing that it is a blessing to age and not a curse. I struggle with aging a little bit now that I'm getting almost 40. What do you have on that, Tara? How are you doing with that? And what would you tell women who may struggle with the same thing?
Well, I mean, we get a lot of our messages about aging again from all over the place, and those industries make so much money off amplifying our insecurities. And it's hard not to give into that. I will say 30 hit me really hard. So hard that I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to celebrate it. This is ridiculous, crying, the whole thing. 40, I was fine with. Like, sure, I'll be 40. I don't care. Because I just leaned into this is life. And I'd rather be here and be aging than not be here and experience everything. So I think everybody kind of sees aging differently too. I've chosen to kind of focus on as aging, meaning like I need to keep myself healthy. I need to keep my balance. I need to be able to do all that so I can do the things I want to do. However I look, I mean, whatever. Who cares
I
how I'm
love it. I love it. I I have always struggled with self-love because of I guess like past things that have gone on, but that's for another podcast. But I would say what helps with self-love is definitely consistent exercise, because if you are physically as fit as you can absolutely get yourself, and that's another story because your body will remind you that you're almost 40, even when you're super fit, because random knee pains may happen. And wrist pain that I started getting because I lift heavy. And I'm like, oh no, no pain. You are not there. I'm going to ignore you. But you can't ignore those signs either. But I would definitely say that consistent exercising has helped with my self-love always, because when people are like, "Oh my gosh, look at your arms." I'm like, "That's right. I'm working for that. I'm working for that body. I'm not like, let me take a pill or just cut the corners." My kids see me working hard because powerful body equals a much better brain.
I
Wouldn't
think
you
it's really
agree?
important to note though, like, I didn't mean to talk over you there, but I think it's really important to note that we can all fall in love with different parts of ourselves, and that's easier for some of us. Like for me, it was my education and focusing on my career because I love what I do for a living and I love learning. And so that's really built my confidence. Other people, it's going to be feeling fit. Other people, it's going to be giving back to their community and feeling like they're serving others in that way, being a great mom, being a great parent, can build that sense of love because you want to model that for your kids. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can get the same results and get what you need that I think everybody has to be open to just kind of exploring what allows you to feel most authentically you and gives you that idea that I matter and I want to be here. What does that for you?
That is so beautiful. I agree. When I made my own money as a realtor, I felt very empowered because I'm just like, ooh, I'm gonna buy what I want without asking you. But I agree. I think education too is a huge one because when you have more education and you went from beginning to the graduation, it does give you so much empowerment because you can use different words that are not just one syllable, and the intelligence is just so beautiful when you're in a room with full of people who are highly educated. It's just something beautiful happens from there, as long as the ego is not bigger than their education, then it's beautiful. I agree with you so much. For me, it's definitely mental health and physical health is how I show self-love for myself. Um, and I would definitely say that there's a huge cultural difference too between being an Estonian immigrant in America. I don't feel like I'm receiving love in America, and here is why. Estonians are very blunt. So, and Americans, what I've seen in the 20 plus years that I've been in this country, they will tell you what you want to hear and not actually tell you a lot of the times what you either need to hear or what they actually mean. And for me, that feels like they're not giving me love because they're not being genuine, like they're beating around the bush. And Estonians don't even have a bush to beat around. They're just kind of like, we're not going to be friends. Our personalities don't click, and that's the end of it. But what I've seen here is just the beating around the bush sometimes, and that makes me feel very unloved as an immigrant because I don't understand the fluff. After all these years, I still don't understand the fluff. Like, just give it to me how it is, like vodka on rocks. What would you say about those cultural differences, Tara?
Well, we living in America, we have so many people from all over, different places, different ideas, and even within America. I mean, California is a very
Mm.
different place from Texas, is a very different place from Minnesota, is a very different place from New York. I mean, we get those kind of differences everywhere. And so I think that's part of that whole embrace who you are, love who you are. And everybody's going to be different. And that adds so much to our world. But it's hard to always accept that I'm different and I'm not necessarily accepted by this other group of people. It hurts because we're wired for connection and belonging. We want to belong. It makes us feel safe. So when we don't,
1000%.
it hurts.
Yeah, and it has hurt since I started high school in America. I feel like a lot of women I just don't click with. I I find them a little I don't want to say drama because I don't want to say that, but they just they hear your accent or sometimes talk to you like they need to pronounce louder. Like maybe I'm not really understanding the words that are coming out of their mouth. Kind of like that movie. Like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And it's like, no, I understand you very well. And it that makes me from a society's perspective, it makes me feel unloved. But that internal love needs to be so much bigger than the external because other people cannot be the ones to define you. You need to define you. If you give the power to other people to define you, um, it will be very difficult to have any kind of self-love because you're relying on that approval from random strangers who don't even approve their own self, who don't even know who they are.
Well, I mean, what you're saying, like, we don't control anybody else on this planet except ourselves. We don't even control our kids. We influence our kids heavily. We don't control our kids. So, yeah, I can't control how you experience me. I can't control if you like me, but I can control if I like me. and I can focus on how I feel about me.
1000%. I wear like goofy socks when I leave the house sometimes. I think you can tell a lot about a person by their socks. My husband has started to really pay attention to these socks. He got some with cigars on it, and I I value people who have goofy socks on. So if you want to be my friend, please wear goofy socks. Everything else can be just fine, but your socks need to reflect what's inside of you. And I would say also self-love. I asked my incredible daughter what self-love is, and she she said that self-love is loving yourself no matter what. And she's 10. So I'm hoping and praying that I'm doing the right thing.
And that she can
And
hold on to that message.
I hope so. I hope so. But self-love also is knowing your worth by focusing on your strengths and not allowing someone else to define you. That goes back to what I was just saying. You can't give other people the power. But tell me more about self-love, maybe not in a clinical sense, I guess, but just as what you've seen as a therapist.
Oh, well, see, because you're so organized and encourage people to prepare. I did prepare and looked into it.
Just be you, talk from your
Just be
heart.
me. But I was well. That's what I do too. I like to prepare, but I'm not. I'm not very self motivated for it sometimes. So, I mean, being a therapist, there's lots of different ways. I mean, when you work with a therapist, there often is going to be an aspect of learning to love yourself and accepting yourself. That's not usually the language that's going to be used, though. Uh,
Oh, okay. What
they may
kind of
not call it
language?
that. They use lots of different things, and sometimes they're just going to do the work without calling it anything. And you'll
Mm.
because when you're sharing and you're connecting, you're realizing like, oh, wait a second, I am lovable. Oh, I do deserve love.
So
Things of that
that's what you
nature.
did with me for the last decade. I appreciate that.
Slowly but surely, we worked on that one. But that's everyone. And I did do some research. I mean, if we're looking at like internal family systems, which I am not trained in, I have a lot of colleagues who are very well trained in it. They believe we separate into parts of self. There's parts of ourselves that protect us. There's parts of ourselves that support ourselves and love us and everything else. So they talk about serving all of those and working with all those and healing them so that you can be a complete and total self at the end. There's no end, but and I probably explained that very poorly. So,
I
but
think you
that's an
did an okay job
overview.
on it.
That's an overview of it. But we have to work to understand and honor all parts of ourself in order to do this. I learned that when I was working with folks, having a certain amount, maybe not a ton, but even just a certain amount of self-love helps us have healthy boundaries and helps us be able to make change. If I feel safe and loved for who I am, where I'm at, I feel brave enough to try something new. Because it's okay if I fail. It's okay if I mess up. People like me for who I am. And if I can't do this other thing, they're still going to like me. And so when we can love ourselves, we're able to explore and make the changes we maybe want to make. And I think that's a really powerful thing for that.
I see one day, hopefully, after about 50 podcasts, I see a beautiful self-love book happening that we need to call something else but self-love. But I can see that hopefully one day being in my vision because you speak so beautifully. I'm a pain in the rear. Together is a beautiful team. So let's keep it going. But I did write down some things that I want the listener to be weary of. I came up with a few quotes and take them as they are. Okay, take them with a grain of salt if you need to. But this is what I've learned over the 39 years on this earth. Depressed people depress people. That is just inevitable. They don't mean to, but they will. Um, I had another quote, but I can't find it. Broken people break people. So you need to either limit or put boundaries around people who you already know are going to suck you dry. Because inside you already know, because when you're done being around people like that, you feel very depleted. Your body feels like you had an alcoholic beverage, even if you didn't, and your internal compass is already telling you, please limit that time with XYZ. And you're not limiting that time because you feel like you owe somebody something and you don't. You owe yourself love, more love than you could ever imagine. That's just what I want to make sure that I mention. What do you think about that? Do depressed people depress people? Can they accidentally do it without meaning to?
I think they can without meaning to. I think it depends on, we have to be aware of who we are and how much we're absorbing other people around us. Some people are very unaware, and that being around a depressed person isn't going to impact them at all. And other people are going to be sensitive to that. Just how it goes.
I would say
Um,
I'm very sensitive to that.
yeah. I think a lot of us are more sensitive than others, and that's fine. I mean, that's, again, it's part of that whole, we're all different and we're moving in this world differently. So I think that's important. But yeah. I do have some tips, tricks, things people can try on their own to increase self love without necessarily going to a therapist and doing all kinds of childhood work.
Let's hear it.
They're
Drum
very
roll.
basic. They're very basic, but that's by design. I believe a very powerful way to begin practicing self love is to set goals so small. It, of course, I can achieve them. That's so easy. Like, I'm going to read a page a day. I can't read a chapter a day. Maybe I don't have time, but I can read a page a day. Maybe I can't do a full workout, but I can walk around my house 10 times. I can go outside for 5 minutes and get some sunshine on me. I can, small goals. And when we achieve the small goals, it builds our confidence, it builds that belief in ourselves, but it also helps regulate our nervous system that I can do something and achieve something and close that loop. That feels good. The other things that we can do for our nervous system would be getting grounded in nature or your environment. So, feet on the ground, kind of thing. They say touch grass is kind of
Mhm.
the idea. Get yourself out there. That can be a very powerful way. Just practicing your grounding, you can ground yourself in your environment. You can do this by looking for the colors of the rainbow in your room. You can do this by activating all of your senses. Breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation. You can Google or YouTube any of those and find one you like. Meditation. Any of those are going to slow your body down, regulate your nervous system, even briefly, maybe not long term, but even briefly. And that allows us to feel a little bit more in control, a little bit more aware of ourselves. And we can be present and learn to love who I am in that moment, which is small, but powerful. And it adds up over time.
I feel like we need to do at least one more podcast about self-love because we just kind of scratched the surface. And I want you to, if you want to, I would like you to either leave an email or something where if somebody in Southern California wants to contact you or wants to have you as their mentor so that they can right away see how to contact you, post the video, take the notes, because Tara is incredible. She's helped me literally everything you just said, I've done. So grounding techniques, breathing, the tension in my body, the I forgot what it's called. Like you do the different parts of your body, you tense them up, you let them go, tense them up.
That's the
I've
progressive.
done, yeah, progressive. Um, I've done it all. Like I don't want to call myself an expert on anxiety because I'm still a student of the anxiety that I feel daily, but I am definitely improving because I'm putting in the work the way I'm putting in the work with the workouts. You can't skip those things and just be like, oh, I'm fine. It's work, people, okay? Hard work. So, Tara, how can people contact you if they want to get in touch?
I have a website, Tara, Tara, VincentDavidson.com. There's forms there that you can use to reach out to me, a phone number you can call, text, all that fun stuff.
I love that. I'm gonna share that on the link as well, link below. And we're going to today let y'all go because I think we're at 20 minutes. I stopped counting, but I promised there are about 20 minutes. And we're gonna do a second one about self-love, and we're going to talk about different things you can do daily, and I can even work them out on the video, like how to do the progressive tension technique and the breathing. Those are huge for me when I cannot sleep, or where I feel like our children are going to make my head explode, I deep breathe and it really helps so much. So, let's leave the listener with something they can take home with today. So, something happy. I would go back to if you are completely confused for the day as a female, put on the red lipstick, wash your floors, and tacos for dinner. But Tara can also leave you with maybe a little quote or maybe something that she's learned over the 20 plus years as a therapist on what really resonates with people. If she wants to, it's up to her.
There are, I say 50 different ways. There are hundreds of different ways to get the same result. Some take longer than others. That's okay. The process is part of it as well. Be okay with the idea that I'm going to try something. Whether or not it works doesn't really matter because I'm trying something and that matters for me in this moment. And you'll get there. We all get there. We all get where we need to get eventually.
I absolutely adore Tara. If you need anything from her, her link is going to be below. And please subscribe to our wonderful channel. And we'll see you next time on Take Two on Loving Yourself. Bye.
Bye.